Well, Charlie Mitchell, our congressional expert on Take Action News, that is exactly where I was going to take this conversation next, which is this is just another leadership crisis for Speaker John Boehner. He can't wrangle his caucus. He can't get the hardcore Tea Party conservatives to vote for these bills. And so he's either got to do one of two things. He's either got to say, I'm just not going to pass these bills, do what he does with, I guess, the budget with these continuing resolutions and somehow find a way to appropriate the funds temporarily, or he's got to violate the so-called Hastert rule, which says that he needs a majority of the majority to put something up for a vote. But we've seen this before. It still seems like Speaker Boehner is safe in his speakership because there's just no one else who wants to be that guy.
Right. There has to be a legitimate contender who comes up and challenges him. And I don't. That's not going to happen this year. Everyone thinks that eventually Eric Cantor will be the guy who replaces him, but Cantor's made a calculation that he's not going to challenge Boehner head on, and he's actually been pretty tight with Boehner through these disasters, if you will. But I had a few takeaways in terms of Boehner's leadership of coming out of this vote, and I think they have a lot of implications for things like immigration reform. There's a sizable block of the Republican conference that really has no faith in government programs of any kind. It thinks that government is utterly incompetent, and it just won't vote for these things. It won't vote for the Farm Bill, which is a government program or supports government programs that Republicans have always supported. Now you have this element, this faction of the Republican Party that is so down on government that they won't even support that. Another thing is the spending, and they just do not want to spend money. And that sank this, that even though you had very deep cuts in this Farm Bill, it wasn't enough. And the third thing is that the conference obviously does not fear John Boehner. He does not have that kind of stick that a leader needs to get things done on occasion. And on the other side, they don't fear him, but they obviously don't trust his strategy either. And if he goes in and tells them, as he did, listen, this is smart politics for us, this is good governing for us, for a variety of reasons, they walk out of the room and it's like they heard nothing. They were utterly unpersuaded. So I think those things are what's going to make immigration reform all that much difficult to get across the finish line on the House side. I mean, I guess, he could bring an immigration bill to the floor that is just all about building fences and all of that, and maybe he can pass that. But by the same token, I think that, that would cost money too. So he would encounter a lot of opposition to the increased spending that would require.